morning, everyone. We would like to introduce the speaker of this session 2 of day 1, Dr. Sarasija Padmanabhan, intellectual property consultant, life sciences domain, specializes in prior art and patent search space. She currently works as associate expert in a project with the World Intellectual Property Organization dealing with freedom to operate search and analysis guidelines. Dr. Sarasija holds a PhD degree in molecular biology from Shemakin Institute of Bioorganic Chemistry and Molecular Biology of the Russian Academy of Sciences. She was trained as a postdoctoral fellow at the Molecular Biophysics Unit of the Indian Institute of Science. She has also completed her Bachelor of Laws from Annamalai University. Dr. Sarasija has over 10 publications in national and international journals, and her work has been presented widely. Formally trained in the life sciences, she brings over 18 years of incisive experience in the IP space across diverse technologies spanning pharmaceuticals, medical devices, molecular biology, organic chemistry, and material sciences. She has several publications to her credit in journals of repute. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm very happy to be here. And I hope, this gives you something to take away and you find it useful. So I've been allotted 2 sessions. One is today and one would be on Friday. So we would be taking home some information from today, which will end with a set of questions. Okay, so you would be requested to answer those questions or try to answer those questions, and we'll deal with it in the next session, Friday morning. And there would be a step up in the next talk. That would be Friday 9:30. All right. So we'll get started with a small question to the audience, and I would request the organizers to help me with the chat box. Right. I would be asking questions like I usually do. I have addressed earlier also, and I request that whatever answers come in the chat box that be communicated to me so that we understand how much the audience has gauged from what I'm telling. Right. To start off, what do you think is a patent? Like, what do you understand when we say patent? The audience in the chat box questions. The question to you is, what do you think is a patent?
Participants, please post your answers in the chat box.
Any answers so far?
No, ma'am, not it.
Okay. We'll give it a minute and then I will tell you. I will start. Really, we would want the audience to participate so that it doesn't become a monologue. I don't want to be just talking. I want participation from the audience as well.
Ma'am, we have an answer that is an exclusive right granted for an invention.
Oh, very good. Very good answer. Anything else?
Ma'am, we have one more answer from one of the participants, Reena Kumari.
Yeah.
Patent means claiming a process or technology which cannot be used without permission.
Oh, very good. So you've covered 2 points. 2 points have been covered. One is the exclusive right, and second is that you cannot use it without permission. Basically the same thing, exclusivity and permission. Very good. Anything else?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so let's go. So we have, for example, we've got 4 possibilities, right? So protecting an individual or company's investment in the development of a specific invention, making sure that nobody but the patent holder can benefit from the invention, sharing information about a new invention with the public, keeping a new invention secret from competitors. Which of these do you think would be the answer? One, two, more, So these are the things. I'm sure you can see it on your screens. Protecting an individual or company's investment in the development of a specific invention, making sure that nobody but the patent holder can benefit from the invention,
Excuse me,
sharing.
ma'am, it is not in slideshow.
Aha. So why you're not able to see this presentation? Are you able to see?
Presentation is seen, but not, it is not in screen share, ma'am. That is slideshow. It is not in slideshow.
You mean full screen?
Ma'am, can you just share your screen, ma'am, and then share the PPT? Sometimes it
Okay.
happens.
Okay, let me try.
Ma'am, you can stop sharing and then start sharing again. While sharing, instead of sharing your PPT, you can share your screen directly.
Okay, let me just try. If it happens, it's good because I thought I had done it right. 1 minute. No, it's not even. I will have to leave and come back again.
Right. No problem, ma'am. Ma'am, you can close this.
Yeah.
And stop sharing. And instead of sharing the PPT, you start sharing screen, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Ma'am, when you are sharing, you share the screen, ma'am. Instead of sharing the PPT directly, share the screen. Sometimes if you share the PPT directly, it may not go for slideshow.
Sharing screen, that option itself is not coming. It's giving me window, it's giving me the PowerPoint, and it's giving me the other things which I have on there. It doesn't give me that option at all. Doesn't matter. Let me try again. Tell me if it comes. Is it there now? What patents are for? Oh, let me try once more. Let me see if it comes. Okay.
Ma'am, put it on slideshow.
You can see here it is.
3.5.
Is it better now?
Yeah, ma'am, it's fine. It's fine now. It's in slideshow. Yeah.
Oh. Now can you see the question? Right? So there are 4 options here. Can you see the 4 options?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the options are protecting an individual or company's investment in the development of a specific invention, making sure that nobody but the patent holder can benefit from the invention, sharing information about a new invention with the public, keeping a new invention secret from competitors. Which of these do you think would be the answer? That's for the audience. Any answers? Am I audible?
Participants, please message or ma'am answer option is they have given A.
A, protecting an individual or company's investment in the development of a specific invention. Okay, that's a good answer. Anything else? Is that the only answer that we have? Any other options?
Protecting an individual.
That's all. Okay. So the thing is, it's not only protecting an individual. Okay. It does prevent other third parties from exploiting an invention, like the first person said, exclusive rights, right, in the previous question. So patent prevents third parties from exploiting an invention without the permission of the person or the company that holds the right. That is correct. But that doesn't mean that nobody else can benefit from the invention. Why? How do you see this? When you apply for a patent, the person or company seeking protection offers the public something of value. What is that? That is detailed information that would allow others to understand how the invention works. So scientifically, you know how it is working because everything is written in the patent document. Additionally, the rights of the patent holder are limited to a set period of time and must be maintained during this period in order for the patent to remain valid. If the period of time has expired or the rights have not been maintained, anyone may freely exploit the invention. This is of importance. Okay. So if it is not maintained, what happens? It comes into the public domain. If it expires, what happens? It comes into the public domain, right? And if it is not patented in that particular country, but it is published in the patent databases, then also it is in the public domain, right? It is territorial. Patents are territorial in nature. They have a set time period when they are valid. Okay, now what does it give to the inventor, right? What does the inventor get out of it? Inventors benefit by gaining the right to prevent others from making, using, distributing, or selling their invention without their permission. Okay, this right can be transferred, sold, or licensed to others by the owner. That is, it's a negative right. Negative right means you get a right by preventing others from making, using, or selling the invention. Okay, and what does the public get out of it? Inventor gets this negative right, and the wider group is also benefited. Patents are published, putting full details of the invention into the public domain. This means everyone can have access to knowledge of the latest advances in technology, which in turn can help guide further research and development. So this is what the public gets. You get the cutting edge technology because it's all published, it's all out there. All right, now keeping in mind that patents are territorial, patents are time bound, and there are certain conditions in which they come into the public domain. You know how you can use it. So that is the entire purpose of these two lectures that I will be giving to you. You have to understand the basics, understand the mechanisms, and use it to your advantage. Okay. So now let us see who owns a patent. It's a very fundamental question. Who owns a patent? Answers, please. Am I audible? Is the question clear? Who owns a patent?
Yes, ma'am. Question is clear, ma'am. It is inventor. An answer from Professor Mamta is inventor.
Very good. Any other answers?
Inventor, ma'am.
Okay, so here are three possibilities. The inventor is absolutely valid as an answer. What about the organization the inventor works for? The organization has provided all the funds, the resources, the bench, the reagents. Everything is being given by the organization or the institution. What about that? And also, what if the inventor sells his patent rights to somebody? Then what happens? Who is the owner of the patent amongst all these three?
Ma'am, organization. Ma'am, the answer is the buyer. The inventor sells his innovation, the buyer.
Correct. All three are correct.
Applicants.
Yes, that is the applicant. Who is the applicant? If the inventor is filing through the university, institution, organization, then the applicant becomes the owner. And if the inventor or the applicant sells or licenses, then that time what happens? The buyer or the licensee becomes the owner. So it's just like any other property. So it can be any of these three. The owner of a patent is not necessarily the inventor. Depending on the employment contract or the applicable national law, it could belong to the inventor's employer, such as an industrial corporation, university, etc. And just like other types of property rights, patents can be sold to someone or licensed out if the owner so wishes. So is this clear? Who owns a patent? So when you join an organization, you get an employment contract. In that, it would be clearly mentioned. And if it is not clearly mentioned, you should clarify what are the benefits that I get if we file a patent with my invention. What is the percentage that comes to me out of the benefits that you get out of selling or out of licensing this invention? That has to be clear. So this is very important when it comes to terms of commercialization. Who owns a patent? Is this clear now? Any questions on this?
It's clear, ma'am.
It's clear. Okay, so we go on. How long and where? Okay. Owning a patent does not mean that you have perpetual rights all over the world. In fact, patents are only valid for a certain period of time and only in those countries and regions where they have been granted. So how long is a patent valid for? Can we have some answers? How long is a patent valid for?
It's 20 years. Answer is from Professor Mamta. It is 20 years.
Very good. Brilliant answer. 20 years. Any other?
Again, from Tejas, it is 20 years.
20 years. Okay.
Rohit, it is 7, 14 or 20 years.
Depends on the jurisdiction. Very bright answer. Very good. 20 years is absolutely correct. Any other answers? Okay. So when does the 20 years begin? From when to when? Can we have some answers for the term? When does the term of protection start?
Date of application, ma'am. From the day of filing.
Fantastic answer. That is the very important thing to keep in mind. It is from the date of filing, because intuitively you will think from the date of grant. It is not from the date of grant. It is from the date of filing. The minute you put in your application, your clock starts ticking. You get an application number, and that's when the date, that is the application date, and your time is starting to tick. From that date till 20 years from then, you have protection. You can put patent pending and start your negotiations for your commercialization. Do not wait till your grant happens. Grant can take 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and you lose that time. So as soon as you file your application, your time starts ticking. And what happens after that? After that, it comes into the public domain and anybody can use it. Your exclusivity is over. You have made an invention and it has come to the public domain. Now, where are they valid? Okay, so patents are territorial in nature. So let us say you have filed for patent protection in India and you want to commercialize in China. Do you have patent protection in China? Do you have patent protection in China?
No, answer is no, ma'am.
Very good. So if you go there, then you cannot say that is protected by if you want patent protection in China, you have to file for a patent over there. Okay, so that's absolutely it. But let us say you have filed for a patent in India. It's not protected in China, but it is published in the patent databases. Somebody in China reads your patent application, understands it. Can they make, use, or sell it? Can they make, use, or sell it?
No, ma'am.
They can. They can. The answer is yes. Why? Because it is in the public domain there. It doesn't have protection. You do not have protection over there. Anybody can make, use, or sell in China because you do not have protection in China. Is that clear? Is this aspect of patent protection clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so here it is. Patents are territorial. Anyone outside the territories in which patent rights have been granted can take advantage of the idea even when a patent is in force. They can make, use, sell, or import the invention without the owner's consent. And once the patent has lapsed, anyone, anywhere can do so. So one vital outcome of the patent system is to make a vast source of information on new technology available to anyone to use at no charge across all technical fields. So you see what is available to you in the way of patent databases. It's a huge repository of information. Now let us say you have a project you want to do. Do you do a review of literature before you finalize what is the project? Do you do a review of literature?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you look at articles. Do you look at patent databases?
Yeah, we will look for the already available patents related to our research work.
Not only available patents, even patent applications. You see, both will have a lot of information, and please make sure that you look at both because that is public domain knowledge and it's very important to reach the cutting edge. Okay, so next question is, do you have to patent? Is it mandatory that you have to patent? Do you have to patent?
Ma'am, if you don't want others to redo our work, we have to apply the patent.
Okay, so it depends on your budget, it depends on the time you have, and it also depends on how much you think you can get back from the investment you make in the patent prosecution process. You have to balance all these things, and it is up to the individual to decide whether it makes sense for him to patent or not. It is not something that you have to do. It is your own discretion which you arrive at. Okay, so it's not that you absolutely have to. So here is a question for you. These two people are the owners of an industrial printing company and they have developed a new liquid applying system that prevents rollers degrading through extended contact to application liquid. This is a new technology. Are they legally bound to patent and publish a detailed description of how it works? They are free not to patent and keep it secret. in which case other companies would be free to make and use if they figure how to. So which of these two would you choose? Are they legally bound to, or they are free to decide?
I think option A, ma'am.
Option A, very nice, fabulous. That's correct. They are. So it depends on you, how you take your decision. You don't have to patent.
Ma'am, we have an answer. If they want to patent, if they want to profit, then they have to go for patent.
Okay. So it's like this. See, if you go for a patent, the government gives you a contract saying you have asked for protection, I will give you protection. Okay, so you have the protection, but you have to pay for it. It depends on how much money you make out of that protection. If you don't want to, you keep it as a trade secret. That's your lookout. That's fine. You can keep it as a trade secret. But what will happen in the course of that? You leave it open to others to copy it. Then you can't complain that that is mine. He copied my thing. You should not be complaining about it later on. If you have the mechanisms to keep it, as a trade secret and there is no problem for you, then you keep it as a trade secret. Depends on how you see it. You see, is this clear? What is the advantage of patenting over trade secret? So many things are a trade secret. KFC has its trade secret. Coca-Cola has managed to keep a trade secret for so long. And many companies keep their own recipes and things like that as their trade secret. Not everybody goes about patenting. It's an expensive process. You have to understand how much of a trade-off there is. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now let us look at the process. What is the patent granting and publication process? Okay. So now, how do you get a patent? For that, there is a method. Okay. And what is the method? So these are the steps. Step 1, you will file. Second step, there is a formal examination. Third, there is a prior art search by the examiner. Then there is a substantive examination, publication, grant or refusal, which also you can have opposition. And if it is refused, you can appeal. So what happens in the filing process? What is it that happens in the filing process? Can anybody tell me? What do you do in the filing process? Answers, please. How do you file for an application? What do you do? No answers?
Check if invention can be patentable.
What is the answer?
Check if invention can be patentable.
Okay, so first thing that you do is you submit your application. You submit your application and there are some forms that you have to fill. There is an application for grant of patent. And then with that, you have to also, there are a couple more forms that you have to file Each form is accompanied by a fee, which is all given in the Indian Patent Office website. And take a look, it is done electronically, and there are some jurisdictional these things. So if you're filing from Bangalore, which patent office would you file in? If you're filing
Chennai, ma'am.
Chennai, yes. And we have 4 patent offices. Where are the 4 patent offices?
Chennai, Mumbai, Delhi, Calcutta.
Brilliant, very good. Okay, so now you have a form 2, and then you have a form which is requesting for early publication. Then there is a form which is a request for examination, or there is an express request for examination, plus there are renewal fees. You have to pay renewal fees, but that comes later on. So first you do the filing with all these forms and these fees. What is the fee? When you file a provisional or a complete specification, there are 3 categories. One is for a natural person, that is 1,600, small entity alone or with a natural person, that is 4,000, alone or with natural person, startup, small entity, that is 8,000 rupees. So that is how you begin. And then each form that is accompanying this form 2 has its own fee. For request for early publication, 2,500 for a natural person, and then 6,250 for a small entity or a startup, it would be 12,500. So like that, each form comes with a fee, and you do all this and you put it in. And what will you get in return? You will get an application number. Okay. Now, when you get that application number, you have an advantage. I already mentioned that. You have your invention, you filed your application. Now, how do you make use of this at this stage? Any answers?
Participants, please post your answers in the chat box. Ma'am, no answer set.
Okay, so you can start putting patent pending. That's what you can start putting. All right, because you've already applied for a patent. So if you put patent pending, it makes the valuation higher. Okay. After you put in that and you get your application number, that means it's already in the office system and it will undergo a formal examination. What happens in the formal examination?
Ma'am, verification of the forms and claims and
Very good, very good. Excellent answer. That is what is happening. All the forms, fees, everything is verified. All the formalities are complete or not, that is examined. And then the examiner will do a prior art search and we'll see what are the documents which are available already in the literature related to your invention. And this is all, and there will be a comparison. Okay, so the prior art search by the examiner, because they have access to all the databases related to your invention, they will look at it. You'll take out that what is closest and there will be a comparison, and that is called a substantive examination. They will compare the prior art with your invention, and then there will be an examination report which will be issued and it will come back to you. And you have to answer all those questions. If you answer right, then the patent prosecution procedure proceeds. Okay. And if it is satisfactory, there is publication and grant. Opposition can happen at any time. Anybody after the publication of your patent application can oppose it, saying that it is not novel or it is not inventive. Okay, so this can happen at any time. Let us say it is refused, then you also have the provision to appeal. So this is the entire flow chart, and you should be clear about the entire process. Okay, now let us go to the next one. So also there are different patent systems. There are national patent systems. So when you file in another country, it is the rules and regulations of that country that reign supreme. Each country has slightly different rules on the patent prosecution procedures. Okay, our patent rules are based on our Indian Patent Act of 1970. Okay, and for example, a very important chapter 2, inventions not patentable, covers different things which are not patentable, goes on from A to P. And also section 4, that is inventions related to atomic energy. These are not patentable subject matter in our country, but in other countries there might be variations of this. Then there are regional patent systems, for example, European Patent Office. European countries, many of them will come under this cluster. Then Eurasian Patent Office, Africa, and so on. And then there is another system which is called the Patent Cooperation Treaty system, which is different. We'll cover that in some other lecture, but just so that you know that there are different systems and different national laws for how you are filing. Now let us look at the Patent Cooperation Treaty. What will happen is at month 0, you do a first filing at a national patent office. Okay, let us say in Chennai. Then you get a priority period of 12 months. Okay, now after this, you can file an international application at a single receiving office designating all your PCT states. All right. Now we have a receiving office. India is a PCT member, so we can do that. So most of our patent applications follow the PCT route. All right. Now what happens at the 18th month? 18th month, there is international processing, centralized search, examination, and it comes in the public domain. It is published. Now, once it is published after the 18th month, anyone, anywhere can read it, and if it is not where you have sought patent protection, they can make, use, or sell it. So let us say you are looking at a patent which is published and has been filed only in the United States. You are located in Bangalore. Can you make, use, or sell that? This is a question to the audience. Please, may I have an answer?
No, ma'am.
You might think it's no, but the answer is yes. You can make, use, or sell it if it has not been protected in India. If it has been filed for only in the United States, then it is a patent which is or an application which is only protected in the United States. It has come into it has been published and it is available to you to use because that person has not filed for a patent in India. All right. And then after the 18th month, there is an international phase, and the 30th month, you go for filing in the various national offices where you want patent protection. So after the 18th month is very crucial. When you are doing a patent literature survey, look for what are the designated states. Where are they looking for protection? Are they protecting it in our country? Can I use this technology? Do make sure to look at it. Okay. So now this is the typical PCT system, and here I am showing you what happens at the various time stop. First, 0 month, file local application. 12th month, file PCT application. 16th month, there is an international search report and written opinion. 18th month, what happens? There is an international publication. 19th, supplementary international search. Now, what does this do? This gives you the information whether it is good enough for you to go into an international filing procedures. So if you enter a national phase in any other country, you know, whether it makes sense for you, whether you are strong enough, what is the strength of your patent application? These are the things that you have to look at. 28th month, you get an international preliminary report on patentability. There is an additional patentability analysis, and this is very, very important for you to take into account which countries you want to go into. Okay, so that's the thing, and that's how you enter the national phase. You express an intention and take steps to pursue to grant in the various countries. Now, decisions, and you see what happens as you go along the PCT pathway. From the month 0 till you come to the 30th month, you get more information about patentability from the various search reports. You also get more information about commercial prospects. So the first month, of course, you have to pay money. It is a question of filing and all of this. Then you have to think, 12th month, should I file the application abroad? Should I file a PCT application? Also costs money. After the 12th month, before the 18th month, you have an opportunity. Should I withdraw the application? If you withdraw the application, it will not be published. It will not come into the public domain. Should I withdraw the priority claim to delay the publication? So you want to make sure whether you want that available in the public domain or not. That slot is between the 12th and the 18th month. Then next is the international phase. Do I want international preliminary examination to enable amendment of the application before the national phase? The national phase begins in the 30th month. Okay, should I manufacture or assign or license the invention? Can I find a partner or buyer or licensee? That already happens after the 18th month. Then you think about, before the 30th month, you start thinking, should I enter the national phase? In assessment of the prospects of commercial success, likelihood of patent grant, which country should I enter the national phase? So these are the things you have to keep in mind. Let us say you are manufacturing something like a fur coat. Okay. Now, where would you have commercial prospects? It would be in the northern regions where it is cold. You will definitely not find use for it in a country like Mauritius or in a country or the equator where it is very warm. You want to commercialize where it will be of use to you. So that is how you look at commercial prospects. Patentability, though 3 filters, there are basically 3 filters for patentability. We have covered this often enough. Does anybody in the audience want to tell me what are the 3 criteria, 3 main filters for patentability? Anybody in the audience? What are the 3 main filters for patentability?
Ma'am, novelty, innovation, non-obviousness, and commercial utility.
All right, very nice. But what is innovation? Here, how did innovation come in this? What is innovation? Inventive step, novelty, and industrial applicability is 100% correct. But innovation does not yet enter the picture. Innovation comes afterwards. Okay, so it's just 3. It's novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. Okay, what is novelty? Novelty basically means new, right? No, and it's a question of date. Has anybody thought of it before your filing date? That's basically what we are looking at here. Okay, that's called the priority date. Capable of industrial application is very clear that it should be either more economical or it should have a use which makes something easy and so on. Okay, and what is the inventive step? Can anybody explain to me? Non-obviousness and inventive step are used as synonyms. What is the inventive step? what is the inventive step? Any answers?
Ma'am, technical advancement and compare to existing one.
Correct. And how does the examiner determine if there is a technical advance? This is absolutely correct. The answer is absolutely correct. But how is it determined that there is a technical advancement? Let us say article A gives element U of your invention. Article B gives element Z of your invention. The examiner finds both articles A and B and says you have just combined the elements of this and come up with your invention. So he says you are lacking in inventive step. Basically, anybody who has expertise in this domain would have combined A and B to come up with your invention, and that is how you are lacking. So you have to prove that anybody who is in this field would not have combined A and B. That is how you prove inventive step. Okay. Is that clear? How you determine inventive step?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now there are some exclusions. Okay. Most countries, depending on their requirements, they have some exclusions. Some of the general ones are inventions whose commercial exploitation would threaten public order or morality, diagnostic, therapeutic, surgical methods used to treat humans or animals, and plants and animals. These are the usual ones in most countries. But our patent law, Chapter 2, Section 3 has one part which says what are not inventions. And it says it has A to P, in which some of the very interesting ones are, for example, 3K, which says a mathematical or business method or computer program per se or algorithms is not patentable subject matter. Now, we have so many apps and we have so many how do you go about patenting those, algorithms, softwares? How do you go about patenting those? Because those are essential to many of the patent applications that are filed as of today. How do you do that? Any answers?
And based on utility.
It's based on utility, that's correct. And how would you show that it is based on utility? That it's not something abstract and that's something, in the air like that. Basically, you have to embed it in some sort of a hardware, something which is a machine or some instrument. If it is associated with that, then it becomes patentable. Another question is regarding a literary, dramatic, musical, or artistic work or any other aesthetic creation whatsoever, including cinematographic work and television productions, is not patentable subject matter. So which intellectual property right would cover these?
Copyright.
Very good. Excellent. And a mere discovery of any new property or new use for a known substance or of the mere use of a known process, machine, or apparatus, unless such known process results in a new product or employs at least one new reactant, is not patentable subject matter. Why? Can you please tell me why is this not patentable subject matter? The mere discovery of any new property or new use for a known substance or of the mere use of a new known process, machine, or apparatus, unless such known process results in a new product or employs at least one new reactant, is not patentable subject matter. Why? Any answers, please?
No, ma'am. No.
Okay, so it's because if something already exists, the mere discovery of any new property, that new property already exists. You have only discovered it. You have only found it out. It's not as if you've made anything. So that's already prior art. That already exists. So you have done nothing about it to get a patent. A patent is for something that you have created. You have not created anything here. So that's the reason you will not get a patent for it. So if you find a new plant, a new animal, you won't get a patent for it either. Similarly, for the same reason, because it already exists. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what I would request everybody is to go through the Patent Acts of 1970, Chapter 2, which has a heading called Inventions Not Patentable, Sections 3 and 4. Okay, it's very, very important to understand what is not patentable subject matter. All right. So, okay, so here is a question. Sergey has invented a new way of manufacturing tennis balls. It's not 100% new. Most of the steps are the same as the way everyone else makes tennis balls. He has managed to reduce 3 of the steps so that they can be done in one, making the process quicker and cheaper. Does his idea pass the novelty test?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so most patents are not for completely new inventions. They are actually improvements to existing technology or process. This changes a key part of the manufacturing process, so can be considered novel. So the important criteria, the 3 filters, novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability, they are met here. It is considered there is a change, there is a novelty in the manufacturing process, so it becomes novel. So here's another question. X has been working in a research lab on making deep sea cables. He experimented with a number of adhesives and found one in particular is excellent for sticking the layers of the cables together. This particular adhesive has not been used before to make the deep sea cables. Does this pass the novelty test? Any answers?
Ma'am, no. Answer is no.
Okay, so here it is. It will pass the novelty test only if nobody else has used that adhesive to make the deep sea cables. All right. Now there is a twist to it. He comes up with the idea to use a particular adhesive to stick the layers of the cables together. This has never been used before, so his idea clears the novelty test. But does it pass the inventive step, the advancement, the technical advancement step, or the non-obviousness test? Does it pass the second one?
Ma'am, no. Answer is no.
Okay, so now it depends how he has used it. If he has just taken a lot of adhesives and keep using the till he finds the one that works the best, it will not be inventive, right? He's just taken and randomly tried to find out. But if he has found one that works well, but has also been trying adhesives that a typical expert in the field of adhesives would not have thought of using underwater, right? You do not expect that this particular adhesive will work underwater, but it works. there is a surprising element to it, then this will be regarded as inventive. Okay. Now, here's a fashion student who has a lot of practical skills. She has invented a new zipper that is cheap to make and very adaptable. She decides to apply for a patent. After filing her application, she's reading through magazines in her dentist waiting room. She comes across an article that shows zippers just like hers. Now, does her idea now pass the novelty test?
Answer is no.
So here it is depending on the priority date. Okay, you have to check what is the date of the publication for the magazine. If it was published before the priority date of the patent application, then no problem. There is, it passes the novelty test, right? If the publication date is after the prior, then her idea becomes novel because the date does not, there is no conflict with the date. Priority date becomes important here. Okay, now she has described and demonstrated her zippers at the annual college show before applying for her patent. That's where the magazine writer got his story. Now, does her idea pass the novelty test?
Yes, answer is.
Okay, so here it is. If she has described the full details of her zipper, it will be considered new only in countries where there is a grace period. Many countries, they give a grace period, then it is all right. But if it is not like that, then, and if she has given all the details before filing, then she's in trouble. Okay, so how many of us in the audience have seen a regular patent application, what it looks like? Have we seen it?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so let's look at what it looks like. So this is the first page, right? You have all the bibliographic data, and you have the first thing that is on top is the classification number. Then the important one is the international application number. Okay, this is assigned when the patent application is filed, and similarly, you also have a publication number. It is assigned when the application is published. And when is the application published? Which month? May I have the answer, please?
After 1 year, ma'am.
18 months. 18 months is the crucial date. Please remember 18 months. Okay. Then you have the language. What is the publication language? And who is the applicant? Who is the applicant? Applicant is not necessarily only the inventor, right? It could also be the company where the inventor works, and the applicant becomes the owner of the patent. And once granted, the applicant may sell, license, or transfer. We did this earlier. Also, the inventor or the inventors, they are of course the owners of this thing. When? Several important dates, right? First is the publication date. Indicates when the application was made accessible to the public. All right. And what is that date? How many months after the filing? Usually, when is a patent application published? First, may have some answers in the chat box, please.
Ma'am, 18 months.
Correct. And if it is granted, then the date of grant becomes the publication date. All right. Then you have the international application number, you have the filing date, all this. Priority date we've already done with. And what is the period of priority? What is the period of priority? I think we are getting tired now, right? It's long. 1 hour is over. People are getting tired, not getting answers now. Okay, here's a question. John's company thought it was important to protect their invention in their main market. What do you think would have happened if they let the priority period expire without filing internationally? Anyone else could obtain a patent for John's company's invention in Australia if they filed an application there. John's company would be refused patents in other countries if they or someone else disclosed the invention before the patent applications were filed abroad. John's company would be prohibited from filing patent applications for the same inventions in other countries. Which is the right answer? Any answers?
Answer B.
Okay, so if the company lets the period of priority expire, they could not publicize their invention, sell a product based on this invention, or in any other way make information about their invention available to the public before they file patent applications abroad without risking having their patents refused in these countries. Why? Because they lose the novelty criterion is not met, right? The company would also risk having their patent refused if their patent application in Australia was published, or if a competitor disclosed the same invention before they filed the patent applications abroad. The period of priority usually 12 months. Okay, so we've done all these. Okay, some questions and we will end for today. What is a patent? It's a positive right, it's a negative right, it's an exclusive right, it's a problem, or is it a solution to a problem? What do I check out of these? Am I audible?
Ma'am, an exclusive right.
It's an exclusive right. Okay, that's correct. Any other from here? Any other answers from here?
Exclusive right.
Okay, but it's also a negative right. Why is it a negative right? Because it prevents others from making, using, or selling. And it's also a solution to a problem. It's also a solution to a problem. Okay, so that's what a patent is. In summary, it is a negative right, it is an exclusive right, it is a solution to a problem. How long does a patent protection last? Forever, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years?
20 years, ma'am.
Very good. What right does the patent provide? A right to commercialize the invention, a right to prevent others from commercializing the invention?
Ma'am, both are correct.
Okay. Where is a patent valid? All over the world, where it is used, where it is invented, where it is patented?
Where it is patented.
Excellent. So now we have a set of questions which is with Professor Manjunath. It would be circulated amongst all of you. Try to answer that and we will deal with it in the next lecture. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, I am happy to take them. Any questions? We end today otherwise.
Participants, if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself and you can ask your questions. Ma'am, suppose if someone filed a patent in US, it is not being filed in India. Okay,
Yeah.
can we use that technology and we can produce, mass produce, or we can use that in India?
Absolutely, you can. Only thing you can't do is you cannot file for a patent for that same technology. You cannot file for it. And what is the reason for that? Because the novelty is already claimed by somebody else. Novelty standards are absolute. Anywhere in the world, if it is disclosed, it will kill the novelty of your claim. So you can make, use, or sell anything that has been applied for a patent anywhere or granted a patent anywhere, given that it is not protected in India. That is correct. And that is the purpose of this lecture, to bring home this message. Go through the patent repositories, go through the databases, and see what is the legal status of that technology. Patent prosecution is a very expensive process. Not everybody can afford it. The technology which is available to you, you should use it. Yes.
Participants, please post your queries in chat box, or you can post it in the, or you can unmute yourself and ask your queries. Ma'am, on behalf of the principal, HOD, staff and students of the Department of Biotechnology, we extend your heartfelt gratitude for enlightening us related to all the patents, all the informations related to patents. So thank you so much, ma'am. And by the way, one more question, ma'am, from the participants. Ma'am, how long it will take time for getting patent in life science studies?
Okay, so it depends on the complexity of your invention. Depends on how you answer the prosecutors, the examiners' questions, and how satisfied you. It is a to and fro. If it very quickly answers his questions, no problem. Otherwise, you have to satisfy the examiner that it is novel, it's inventive, there is utility over and above your patent application. So anywhere from 4 years is also
Ma'am, one more query. Do we need to give any live demo or for whatever the inventions we are having, or just
okay.
filing it will do?
So these days it's all happening by video conferencing. Something they might ask you to show how it is working, prototype. But in life science, the main issue is you have to deposit your strains in the depository. IMT Chandigarh. There's one more now, so you have to deposit your strains. You have to, and the National Biodiversity Authorities, they have to be satisfied that you're not taking. These are the issues in life sciences. Usually they do not ask for a demonstration in the life sciences, but if it is some kind of a device which is working, they can ask you to show over a video conference. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once again for this wonderful lecture. So,
Request Kumar to share the questions. I've already sent it to him. Share it with the participants that the participants attempt these questions, and see that they have understood what the lecture had. Because only then we can.
yeah, ma'am, sure. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you once
Thank
again.
you very much. Yes.
So, dear participants, with the kind.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Dear participants, the next session will be exclusively on how to use abandoned patents or expired patents or the patents which are not covering your regional states. So be ready with the questions that we are going to share it to you people. So by Friday you'll be ready so that the ma'am will come and once again, and it will be interesting session for all of us, because that will give ample of food for our thoughts, and also it will help us to frame our final year project as well as your own individual projects. Hope next session will enlighten you a lot with the patent and other things. Thank you, madam. Thank you once again for your kind cooperation and also for sharing your knowledge in spite of your busy schedule. Thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. So, dear participants, with the kind consent of the convener, we are winding up with the session 2 of day 1. So, please do join us back at the session 3 at 2 o'clock related to NEP. So, thank you all. So, please do join us at 2 o'clock for the session 3. Thank you.